Welcome to the Irish Pub, where I yap about things too short to make a full video on, but too long to not make a video on. Today we've got the spy camera. So used to substituting TF2 names for the TC2 ones. Anyways, I honestly love the spy camera. It's such a unique concept. It really plays on the secret agent part of Agent. Its whole gimmick is that you give up the sapper for a tool that lets you mark enemies, including buildings, so that your entire team can see where they are, even through walls, and give marked enemies a 35% healing reduction. It's basically something out of Hitman, and when you have a teammate using it, it really feels like it too.
Good afternoon, Merc 3. You've been put on Team Green to try and push the payload to the final cap, but your team is getting steamrolled. The root cause of this issue seems to be the Red Team's doctor keeping the entire team at full health and pocketing a high-level trooper. You'll find your weaponry might not be effective, as he appears to be running the overpowered vaccinator. So, choose your tools wisely. Good luck, 3.
While the spy camera is, really powerful, you hardly ever see this thing actually being used, and that's because it's taking up the sapper slot. Now that makes sense, as there's no other slot to put it in, and it's fair to trade ruining mechanic's life for marking a couple enemies for your entire team, but you'll very often find yourself in situations where having your sapper would be so much better for you than the camera, even as gun spy, and it sometimes leads to very avoidable deaths. The problem is, the spy camera is just not as selfish as the sapper. You might think the sapper is a tool to take down sentry nests for your team to progress, but for the most part, taking down a nest also means you don't have to worry about an aimbot or ruining your sick chain stabs for your agent montage. It's in the agent's interest to take care of nests for her own benefit. Not to mention, it just feels awesome to take down a mechanic as an entire nest all by yourself. Comparatively, what exactly does a spy camera do for Agent? Well, the main reward for marking an enemy and getting them killed is 5 seconds of mini crits. This isn't nothing, but I wouldn't exactly call it game-changing either. Can it help? Absolutely. Is it as worthwhile as taking down a whole sentry nest? Not at all, making it hard to justify using it over the sapper, especially since it can only hold one mini crits charge at a time. There is 2 niche cases where the spy camera comes in pretty handy though. Pair it with the Wraith and you have an endless supply of assists fueling your magic, since highlighted enemies tend to be a prioritized assist point over things like damage. This is nice, sure, but relegating the spy camera to only being good with one other weapon is hardly a good way to balance it. Last thing to mention is that it's really good at trick stabs, especially corner stabs, letting you perfectly time when your target's coming around the corner for an easy stab. Useful, since a big downside of the spy camera is that when you use it, it's basically screaming,
The enemy team has an agent. They're currently alive and they're targeting you.
Which would put anyone on high alert, constantly spy checking, making your job much harder to backstab them. And while that's useful for baiting players into advantageous corner stabs, it makes the actual act of backstabbing people stealthily much more difficult, making you want to avoid using it instead. So you see the problem, right? As good as it is for team sport, it is not at all worth it for an agent to pick it up over the sapper. It just isn't selfish enough to get a very selfish class to want to use it. So that's what we need to change, and I think we could do that by giving it a way to deal with nests like the sapper, but in a much less efficient way. For example, taking a picture of a sentry will blind it to the agent's presence and only the agent for 20 seconds. In this time, you can go for backstabs right in front of it without worrying, but not making it a safe area for anyone else on your team. Or you can take out the mechanic and shoot the sentry to bits. As you'll probably guess, even though taking down a nest is now possible, it leaves you open and vulnerable as you shoot away at the buildings, no longer being as easy as sap and leave. If you want to take out a sentry with the camera, you have to choose an appropriate time to do it, so you don't get blown up into 1,000 Italian pieces shooting the blind machine. But don't fret, mechanics. Hitting a sentry that's been photographed will reduce its time by 10 seconds, 20 with the Southern Hospitality and 7 with the PDQ, in line with the building damage. The usual highlight will remain, however, and still last 10 seconds. You'll be able to see this with a modified Sapper UI, counting down the seconds left of blindness. Same goes for Agent. She will get a UI similar to the Sapper that shows how long the blindness on the sentry will last and when it's being removed. Also, snapping a photo while already blinded will reset the time. I think this is fair since the mechanic can easily go kill the agent himself without having to worry about his sentry being unable to defend itself or be destroyed like in the case of a sapper, so infinitely reapplying blindness doesn't seem game breaking to me. With this, I feel a lot more agents will use the spy camera so that they can not have to worry about sentries, but without making it stronger than the sappers themselves. You trade the ability to take out a nest and help your team progress for the ability to disable a sentry to your presence so you can backstab enemies right in front of it, all while marking it for your team to take care of it themselves. It definitely becomes much more selfish to use in regards to the team fighting mechanics, but that's fair considering she can also use it to mark enemy locations for you as the team support element. Personally, I run the camera on Gunspy with the Wraith, and I'll have a lot less scenarios wishing I had a sapper instead. And honestly, I just think it'd be really funny to exist right in front of an active enemy sentry and not have to worry at all. Okay, maybe worry a little bit.